Hi there, this is Crystal Summer Bear Jones with Wedding Secrets and Heirloom Photography. I'm here today to chat about multi-day weddings and the pros and cons of doing multi-day weddings. And most most people do multi-day weddings as a destination or semi-destination event. So we did ours as a semi-destination event in that it was not super local to us. So I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. So most people would think that I would choose a San Francisco Bay Area location. However, I did not. I, in fact, knew I did not want to get married in the San Francisco Bay Area proper. There was one location I was thinking of, and I had mentioned in a previous video that the person who's in charge of handling the wedding events there was absolutely horrific to work with, and it did not work out, and it was above our budget anyway, so it was better that we left the Bay Area to get married, and we ended up going to this amazing vineyard in Paso Robles, California, called Bella Terra Vineyards. It is incredible. I just can't rave about it enough. I want to actually have a combo vow renewal and birthday celebration when we hit 50 at that venue. And hopefully I can fit in my wedding dress at that time. Hopefully I'll look even better at that time. That would be fabulous because I was not eating so great last year. And there'd definitely be a few things I would change about the wedding dress. When I wear it again. I'm just going to put that out in the world, in the universe, that I'm going to wear my wedding dress again. But it was a multi-day event, and the reason why I wanted that was because as a wedding professional, I know how fast wedding days go. And I wanted to make sure I had time to visit with people, especially since they were traveling from out of the area. Some people just, drove the three and a half, 4 hours to get down there, depending on where it was in the Bay Area. And other people flew in from across the country. I had a friend of mine who flew in from North Carolina, a family member from Florida, others from Kentucky and Ohio. And then I had family members who just didn't even want to make the 3 hour drive to come um, to my wedding, even though it was literally just a 3 hour drive. So it was across the board. Most people were coming from quite a distance. And I wanted people to enjoy themselves and have some time. If you hear pitter-pattering in the background, that is my little dog. You will see her in the last video when I'm talking about pets, but she is hungry right now. So if you hear her stomping around back there, that is my dog Aurora. Um, and anyway, so getting back on track. So what we did was we had the rehearsal. Well, we specifically booked a venue. We weren't opposed to picking a venue that was just for the, 5 to 6 hours, but we were really hoping to find a venue that had a place to stay overnight on location. This one was really amazing because it included a one night stay and a little honeymoon suite. But they also had a huge 4,000 square foot, 5 bedroom, 4 bath, 6 bath, 4 bath, whatever, a lot of bath home on the property. And it was $1,000 a night. So we decided they gave us a discount on the venue, so we invested that back into them and we booked their house, which is huge and I would love to live there. But and because we did that, and because they didn't have any other weddings booked that weekend, they generally only have one wedding booked a weekend. But they decided to allow us to do the rehearsal on the property, and then they allowed us to uh, do the wedding, of course, the day of the wedding, and the next day we did a brunch, all at the same venue. Now, we were expecting to do the rehearsal dinner at hopefully at the venue and then the wedding and then have to do the brunch elsewhere. But we got really lucky. They were so kind. I don't know if they would do that again, but I'm sure that if they don't have any other weddings booked and you're respectful and kind and courteous, then I'm sure they would allow it as long as you book, their main house. And that was great because we could allow people to stay over. And so we actually had quite a few people staying over in the big house on our wedding night, which was really a lot of fun. It was just such a blast. I went to a wedding in Hawaii, which was kind of a multi-day event. I wasn't a part of the multi-day part, but I know that she had the rehearsal dinner, then she had the wedding, and then um, right after the wedding, she and a whole bunch of her friends got on a bus and went to party the rest of the night. So that was like an extended type of wedding. It wasn't necessarily multi-day, but it was extended. So, and that was a way for her to spend more time with some of her more closer friends. And so that's one way to do it as well. The one thing that we did do is we did a little research. And so on our wedding website, which I linked to my own my website personally, I just threw it up there, put all the details, and gave people some recommendations for where they could stay. And then my bridal party and some of my closest friends stayed with me on at the big house. And then I had my friend with her. She has a family of five. I let them use the honeymoon suite because they had a baby. So um it was really great. And were able to book in plenty of time, even though it was August, right? And they a lot of them were actually able, because it was wine country, to do wine tasting the next day. And so what ended up happening was quite a few people actually did wine tasting the next day, and it ended up being all my family and closest friends that were at the brunch the following day. And then Aaron's side of the family, my husband's actually left and went away, so it ended up being more of a big Bear family reunion. So yes, that is my family name. People ask me all the time, where do you get Summer Bear photography? My name is Crystal Summer Bear, so that's where I get it from. So we had a bear family reunion essentially, and that was a lot of fun. And I'm the only thing I do regret is I do wish I had hired a photographer, like a student photographer, to take photographs of the brunch. Because getting the photos from family members was a little bit harder, and I only took a few photos, and only a few other people took some photos. And so it would have been nice to have some more photos of that, but it's okay. No worries. And we were going to do karaoke and things, but we just ended up playing some games that we had gotten that my sister brought up. She brought up from her friend. It's like cornhole and things like that. And we had some music playing, and it was just a good time. It was really great. All right, there I had to cut out for just a moment because I had an incredibly obnoxious loud neighbor who likes to walk by yelling at the top of his lungs to the person on the other end of his phone at 10 o'clock at night. Please let me know. Do you have a neighbor that likes to walk around outside your neighborhood yelling really loudly into his phone, like he's trying to place a transcontinental freaking phone call in the 1970s? I don't know. Anyway, a little bit of venting. It's frustrating. I feel like there's no quiet place for me to really do this podcast right, but I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm going to be doing the interview with Courtney in her space, which does have a more insulated room in which we can do an interview. Unfortunately, again, it's still downtown, so you have motorcycles and things like that. I can't wait to get an actual like studio space that actually has like soundproofing and things like that. But in the meantime, it is what it is. So, getting back to multi-day weddings. So one thing about this wedding is that most people did book for 2 nights. They arrived there the day before the wedding, and then they stayed the night of the wedding, or some stayed the night of the wedding and the night after the wedding, because I had a Friday wedding. And so I did that to save some money, but also so people could actually have a really nice long weekend. And so that was really lovely as well. So if you're thinking about having a multi-day event, I will be transparent. So my wedding, even with the multi-day event, we still kept it around $45,000 after all is said and done. So the average price of a wedding in California is about that price. In fact, some venues won't even work with you if your wedding budget isn't around the $40,000 mark. So we were hoping to keep it under 40,000. That was the goal. We did go over. However, his in-laws actually helped out. So like out of our budget, we did actually stay around what our budget was. We just got a little bit of help from his parents and my parents. So that was good. And it was a multi-day event. So that was fabulous. And because I did all the decorating, I didn't have to worry about anybody having to come in the day after in the middle of our brunch to break down. However, that'll be a whole nother show in which I chat about what's DIY and what not to. I couldn't actually afford that would have put us like up to the $50,000 mark if we had paid to have everything professionally decorated. It was outside of our budget. Had we had a year to plan, then I think it would have been fine. But we really wanted to get married last year, and we just wanted to be married. We didn't want to have a long engagement. So financially, it was a little bit of a struggle, but and it was stressful. But the multi-day part wasn't really that stressful. It just we picked a venue that suited my needs, our needs, not my needs, our needs. And he was very much a part. He loved that idea too. He's like, if we're going to spend this money on the wedding, I don't want it to be done in 5 hours. I want to enjoy myself and actually have fun with the people around me. So, yeah. If you have any questions about your specific multi-day wedding needs, please ask me because it really depends on what you want and where you want to get married. If you're trying to get married here in the Bay Area, you will probably have to go to different venues to do that. If you're going to get married in the country, the Central Coast has, aside from mine, I know there are other venues that do multi-day weddings as well. Quite a few actually in the Paso Robles uh, area into Pismo Beach as well. That whole general area down there has quite a few venues that do multi-day events. And the budget for those is still around 40 to 50K. So that's actually fairly reasonable for most weddings. Yes, you can. I have clients who've booked me, and I'm like the most expensive vendor that they use, and their weddings are 15 to $20,000. And it just depends on what you want to do. But then I've done weddings where the wedding was $100,000. So weddings can be as small or as grand as you want them to be. The average price for a wedding in California is ranges anywhere from 30 to $50,000, but that's like the median range for a wedding in California, which sounds kind of crazy. But if you factor in everything, it adds up really, really quickly. And that's getting off the rack clothes and Amazon bridesmaids dresses, which of course the bridesmaids generally pay for. But yeah. Anyway, if you have any specific questions, again, please reach out to me. I will be doing some more multi-day events, weddings here coming up. I actually have a friend who owns a venue, a castle in France. So if you are looking for something that is grand, and I do mean they only book people whose budget is in well into the six figures, if not that seven-figure mark. So they have a castle that they've converted to look like Versailles. So if you've ever been to Versailles, King Louis the 14th, I believe it was, uh, that type of grandeur. But it's really beautiful, and I will be going there this summer, Lord willing. Leaving my dog is really hard. She's very old, so it's a struggle to leave her for more than a few hours at a time. But Lord willing, I will be going out there and just trusting that she will be okay because I have to go live my life. And, I have weddings, I'll be gone all day and I'll just leave her with the dog sitter. But that I will hopefully will be showing some photos from that venue. So if you're looking for something that's more destination, that's an option. Also, you can actually, for way less money than that, actually book little castles throughout Europe and still keep that budget very reasonable. So, all right. The next episode is going to be really exciting because it's my very first interview, and we're going to be talking about how to actually raise money to put your down payment on your home and how to do that instead of asking for presents. This is how people can help you out, and you'll actually be able to use the money towards a down payment. And we're going to talk about how and why that's very important. And so this is going to be about wedding planning and planning for your future because the wedding is just the first part. The marriage is the big, big rest of your life part afterwards. And people sometimes forget that in the craziness of planning a wedding. So if you have any questions, actually, I'm going to do it tomorrow. So if you have any questions after we do that interview, I and you want to do have us do another one after that, I am happy to do that. Same goes for any video. If there's something that I didn't touch on that you want me to dive in a little bit more, then I can just leave a comment, or you can contact me at Summer Bear Weddings on Instagram. And I would do have a Facebook group for brides as well. So all that will be linked, should be linked in the YouTube description below. And I will be going on to Rumble here pretty soon because YouTube is pushing a lot of AI stuff and a lot of stuff that's just not my jam. So I am among many people moving over to Rumble, where they promote podcasts a little bit more often, and they're not big into the whole just constant generating AI shorts just to get people to stay on there. And pretty soon I also will be you'll be listening to me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the normal just podcasting things, because I want people to be able to just listen to me when they're, walking around and doing over whatever they're doing throughout the day. So, all right. And again, if I will be uploading this video should be coming out like 2 days before the wedding fair. So if it's before the wedding fair on April 27th, then maybe I'll see you there in Sacramento. It's called the Wedding Fair Expo, I think, or Wedding Expo. If not, I will be doing another wedding expo in November, I believe, and I'll be doing a couple more bridal fairs. So if you're interested in meeting me at a bridal fair, then let me know. Just comment below and I'll share which bridal fairs I will be at around the San Francisco Bay Area. All right, have a wonderful night. Bye bye now.